All right, welcome back, everyone. Now we have a spotlight talk from Mark Cusack, Chief Technology Officer at Yellowbrick. Mark is going to discuss the role of hybrid cloud solutions in scaling AI and analytics. Mark, take it away.
Thanks very much, Chris. Today, I'd like to talk about how we can go about building scalable analytics in hybrid clouds and how Kubernetes allows us to do that these days. My name is Mark Cusack. I'm the CTO at Yellowbrick. Now, first, I want to set the scene about what a typical hybrid cloud reality looks like today amongst many of the enterprises that we work with. Because of data sovereignty, data gravity, latency reasons, or the type of workloads that customers are using to generate their analytic results and make business decisions about, they end up placing these workloads increasingly in different public clouds and even on-premises and a hybrid combination of all those together. And so this is a kind of situation that we see. And if you go back sort of 5+ years when there was this big sort of move into public cloud, in some cases in an entire move into the public cloud, many customers ended up closing their own data centers and moving everything there. I'd say over the last year or two, what we've seen is a little bit of a trend, or the start of a trend, around repatriating workloads back to on-prem. Again, for data sovereignty reasons, or increasingly for cost reasons, when they're dealing with analytical workloads that are always on. So they're not really getting the kind of on-demand benefit of the cloud and that kind of agility there. And so we are seeing this complex picture of different workloads being distributed across all of these different environments. So with this hybrid cloud stance comes a degree of complexity here, because over the year, large enterprises are using different data management and analytics stacks in public cloud. They might be using Snowflake, BigQuery, tied to particular clouds in some cases, or other services that might be in their own private clouds, in co-located data centers, or in fact on-prem in their own data centers. And some of these are legacy technologies. And so what you get over time, especially when you factor in repatriation, is a complex proliferation of tech stacks all around your different operating environments. And this comes with a number of issues here. First of all, you've got to maintain a workforce with very, very different skill sets in order to get the most value out of these very, very different tech stacks, different databases on-prem versus data warehousing technologies and data lake technologies in the cloud, for example. And so that's one area of complexity. And not to mention the cost of licensing a lot of this technology as well that you've also got to factor in. So there's a cost complexity here, as well as a tech stack complexity involved in these modern hybrid clouds that we see out there today. So the key question is, how can I simplify this environment and also take some of the cloud-like user experience that the modern data platforms provide us and mimic that on-prem as well? So what we're looking for is basically a uniform user experience, a data platform that looks the same and runs the same in any of these different locations, meaning that everything's simpler from a management perspective and from a usability perspective. Now, one of the key developments in the software industry that kind of helps to enable this is Kubernetes. So Kubernetes provides a portable runtime that containerized microservices can be deployed in and orchestrated by, and can operate the same way in lots of different environments, whether it's running a native service in AWS, for example, on the Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS, or running something like Red Hat OpenShift on your own on-prem commodity hardware. Kubernetes provides this idea of a cloud operating system that makes moving software and deploying it in these different environments the same and very similar to manage. I'd also say that it provides a couple of other key features that will get us towards this goal of providing a cloud-like user experience within your data platform anywhere. The first of these is elasticity. Kubernetes allows you to spin up compute capacity and storage capacity on the fly, and get rid of it when you don't need it. So that elasticity and the agility that we're all used to in the cloud becomes incredibly useful and important, and something we can implement through Kubernetes as well. But it's not easy. And a lot of people, when they think of Kubernetes, they think of kind of complexity, the need to mess around with Helm charts, with Kubernetes operators, and the idea of kind of deploying a multi-tenant data platform like a data warehouse or something like that that's built on Kubernetes can be quite a daunting prospect. Um, one of the things that we've done at Yellowbrick is kind of try and reduce that complexity and try and abstract away all of the kind of core design components of Kubernetes to really allow our users not to worry about Kubernetes under the hood, but really just get to use the SQL data platform on their own terms. We're not expecting DBAs to suddenly become sort of SREs and people that are really responsible for sort of cloud infrastructure engineering here. We want them to maintain their work as kind of administrators of the data itself in the databases. So what we did was implement Yellowbrick on top of Kubernetes, and what that meant is we can deploy Yellowbrick on any public cloud like AWS, Azure, and Google, and on premises as well, and a hybrid combination of all of these things together. So Yellowbrick is an SQL data platform. The use cases we typically apply to are data warehousing or packaged analytics solutions, where Yellowbrick forms a core part of the analytics stack. We're also being used by our customers in AI and generative LLM kind of use cases as well, increasingly. And we're also used in a lot of kind of low data latency use cases where data is trickling into the system, but it needs to be immediately available for query. And there's some unique IP within Yellowbrick that allows us to do that very readily. From the outside in, Yellowbrick presents a Postgres compatible front end. That means that any tool that connects to Postgres, whether it's a business intelligence tool or some data integration components, will work out of the box with Yellowbrick as well. So whether it's on the ETL side of things, all the way on the left here, and over onto the right hand side and the AI tooling, again, anything that's Postgres compatible in that ecosystem will work with Yellowbrick. So we've abstracted the details of Kubernetes away here and effectively have created an SQL interface on top of Kubernetes. So when you want to spin up compute capacity, you simply issue an SQL command through your favorite tool, and behind the scenes, Yellowbrick's operator will instruct the Kubernetes system to acquire new cloud resources and spin up capacity for you that way. So at the very lowest level, I mentioned the platforms that we support, but we're a modern elastic separated compute and storage SQL database engine at heart. So all of your data that you store in Yellowbrick is stored in object storage, and you can spin up these compute clusters to perform tasks on that data. At the heart of Yellowbrick is this notion of a Yellowbrick instance. That's the access point to the ecosystem. It also manages ACID transactions, workload management, and manages your catalog, your tables within your databases in Yellowbrick as well. As I mentioned, you can attach one or more elastic compute clusters to Yellowbrick. All these compute clusters see the same data. They have access to the same underlying SQL databases. So you can be using some clusters to load data into Yellowbrick and using others simultaneously to be querying that data. And this is all packaged within a modern, easy-to-use web-based front end called the Yellowbrick Manager as well. So that's kind of a quick overview of Yellowbrick. And I really like to describe it as we're deploying a SaaS-like experience within your own cloud account as well. So Yellowbrick is not a SaaS service. We're not buying compute capacity off AWS and selling it back to you at a premium like many of these other kind of SaaS data platform vendors do today. All of the entire stack runs in your cloud account. That's incredibly important from a data security and data sovereignty perspective, because you know where your data is going to be at all times. Very, very low management overhead because we've automated a lot of the management processes around here. And it really does bring that kind of operational simplicity in that you can deploy the same stack across your hybrid cloud picture and take away that complexity and that proliferation of tech stacks when you use Yellowbrick as well. So when you look at some of the use cases our customers are putting us to in these hybrid cloud environments, we have customers that are deploying us towards the edge in ruggedized form factors, in the center, in a primary VPC within their cloud. And we have inbuilt replication in Yellowbrick that allows one to take data that's being consumed at the edge, run edge local analytics on it, and then also send that data back to a centralized Yellowbrick instance in your own data center or in your cloud of choice, where it can be aggregated from lots of different sources as well. So with Yellowbrick, you can truly build out a synchronized hub and spoke kind of model of getting data from the edge to the center and perform analytics at all these different areas. And then, of course, making sure that data is only sent and can be anonymized at those edge points, depending on your data sovereignty and regional data laws as you need. So what you get out of here is the ability to support real-time analytic applications, consolidate a lot of the complexity within your data management and analytics ecosystem in your business, the chance to modernize with Yellowbrick with a modern cloud-like platform that deploys anywhere, and see the benefits of massive cost reductions as well. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and your attention. If you'd like to try Yellowbrick yourself in your own environment, you can request a free trial license at yellowbrick.com.